Mark reveals that Jesus was well aware of his betrayer's movements. In the middle of the conversation in which he said that his betrayal was at hand, Judas arrived with an armed cohort sent by the rulers of the Jews to arrest him. Judas had given them a signal, one which indicates the depths of the betrayal that was occurring. He called Jesus Rabbi and kissed him, signs of respect and affection, in order to indicate that he was the one they were arresting. One of the disciples of Jesus, who John tells us was Peter, swung at the high priest's servant and cut off his ear. We suppose he was aiming for his head. And Jesus pointed out the hypocrisy of their covert midnight operation. It wasn't as if they'd had a difficult time finding him. He was in the temple every day. It was, however, a fulfillment of scriptures that they would come and arrest him in this way. And with the mob's arrival, the disciples departed. Among those who ran is an unnamed young man, and emphasizing the shame of the disciples' scatter, the young man had the linen cloth that he was covered with ripped away, and he had to run away naked. Peter was following the mob at a distance as they led Jesus to the Jewish rulers. But he got close enough to sit with the guards around a fire in the high priest's courtyard. The Jewish religious authorities wanted evidence to put Jesus to death, but they could find no testimony against him, just one of many statements of Jesus' innocence in the succeeding chapters. Even the false witnesses that the rulers tried to use to conspire against Jesus couldn't get their story straight. Some of them referenced a supposed occasion when Jesus said he would destroy the handmade temple and rebuild a non-handmade one. This is a corruption, intentional or not, of the promise Jesus did make in John 2 and 19, in which he referred to his resurrection. But even the false witnesses' accounts could not be corroborated. Evidently, in an attempt to get Jesus to incriminate himself, the high priest prodded Jesus and wondered why he wasn't defending himself, as if he needed to do so against such star witnesses. Jesus would not be provoked. In an effort to get the required evidence straight from the source, perhaps a last-ditch effort to do so, the high priest asked Jesus directly, "Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed?" Jesus answered unequivocally, saying, "I am," and that they would witness the messianic prophecy of the Son of Man taking his seat at God's right hand in heaven's throne room being fulfilled. In what must have been a display of shock and awe and incredulity, the high priest tore his robe. He had gotten the confession of what he considered to be blasphemy, and the council condemned Jesus to death. Their disdain for Jesus was on full display as they spat on him. They mocked him. They covered his eyes and hit him and told him to guess who had done it. If only they had known that he was the prophet that Moses had said God would raise up. And when they handed him over to the guards, they abused him as well.